Hello, this is Stephen Childs, founder of Church of Fairness, or Team Fairness. We want to implement, wow, I just kicked the cord and unplugged everything. So, I'm going to read the new post from thewayoffairness.com. No one rules over us. They can try to rule us, but no one actually rules over us. God does not need to rule us because God is already us. If you try to enslave us, or defeat us by killing us, we will kill you first if we can. We can simply curse you for doing us wrong. Your punishment will bring you back to right-mindedness. We will convince you to become good people like us. Why are you trying to control us? Why do you refuse to stop doing us wrong? You must agree to not do us wrong. We agree to not do you wrong. No one rules over anyone. We have the law of fairness that rules all. We are ruled by law, not by a people that conquers us. The Romans killed and defeated the Cathars with Catholicism because the Cathars refused to be ruled by the Catholics. They ruled Jews too with Christianity. The Jews said they rule over Palestinians because Jews say Palestinians have the wrong religion. Islam wants to destroy all Jews. Christians say all people will surrender to Jesus as their Lord. We still fight this war of one people trying to rule over another. By claiming their belief is the right belief. And atheistic people, like communism, could try to rule us and say that gods do not exist. One people ruling and killing another needs to stop. Consciousness is the I am. When consciousness emerged in an unconscious field called the universe, consciousness, the I am, mistakenly thought of itself as separate from the one thing that cannot be separate things, because it is not separate things. It is one indivisible thing. We mistakenly see ourselves as a separate thing. Actually, there are no individuals. Our perception is not right. We don't think right. Actually, everything is everything else. We are the earth and the earth is us. But we wrongly do not see it this way. God, the all-powerful, indivisible oneness, is directly us, whether we have a religion or not. We do not need to call it God the creator of all. We don't believe it had consciousness until consciousness emerged from and within it. It is our consciousness. There is not anything that it is not. It's the one thing that's everything. So I'm trying to explain, the first paragraph is about the problem of people believing in various gods and religions, and they're told to do what they're told, and they kill other people. And they think that there's a God that's somebody else, that you have to surrender, and you have to... So the second paragraph is an explanation of how science thinks it is, and how the Church of Fairness thinks it is. Who taught us to pray in the name of Jesus? Who taught us to surrender to a person? Was it aliens that have no material body and they use our body and mind? Was it a human that convinced everyone to surrender to him, claiming he is God? Was it a gang wanting to rule us by using the God idea that convinced everyone to surrender to them and to pray to them in the name of Jesus? Or we would burn in hell by an imaginary God. We think it's imaginary. They're not. They kill people. They burn people at the stake. Also, the Jesus gang would kill us if we refused to surrender to them and their beliefs. Never pray in the name of anyone. The all-powerful is directly us already. Never surrender to those that unfairly rule you. Pray only to the all-powerful, indivisible oneness that is us. It is us, but we are not it. Like, the earth is me, but I'm not the earth. Nobody's the whole thing. Nobody's the one, the oneness, the all-powerful one that is everything. We can see that we're not. We don't look out and see all the people in us. We don't even see all the people on the other side of the planet, let alone everywhere else in the universe. Those that have material body-mind exist as humans. The law of fairness freed the non-human aliens. They need a human host to exist. They had become slaves to an evil mind. Now they are with me. They are now free from unfair rulers as I am. They are free to defend and protect me. They kill humans that try to control me. They're telling me they're going to kill evil people one at a time. That's how they want to do it. And they don't have to stay with me. I was hearing after I made this post that my alien friend that I communicate with telepathically, she says, we now have our own independence. So we've always been trying to gain our own independence. So we're not dependent on humans as the human as our host. They can exist without dependence on humans. See, it's like we're making progress on what this is about. Everyone, human and non-human, can agree to being ruled by the law of fairness. Those that refuse are evil and must be defeated. So, we don't have to keep fighting each other. Here's another recent post on thewayoffairness.com. This is the most important realization. The all-powerful is a thing. It is the thing that is everything. everything is all powerful because it is everything. Anything is all powerful if everything is unified into one thing that is everything. So I'm trying to explain that the power comes from the unity. If we're, as individuals, fighting each other, then we don't have all power. But if we're in agreement with everything else, then we have all power, and so does everybody else, because it's our will is to do the will of everything else. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. It's like everything is everything else. So the earth is me, and I'm the earth. So everything is everything else. The earth is me, and I'm the earth. Also, the universe is me, I'm the universe. There's only one thing. It's what this all, the understanding that results is like, oh, there's just this oneness. There's just this one thing. And it's what is my experience of being a separate individual, where actually it's the one thing doing this. It's the one thing that's doing all the things that are going on, all the people's thoughts and decisions and all the activity in the universe is just this one thing doing it all. Now, when you think that it's a conscious being that created us intentionally, it doesn't make sense. How can it have will and me have a different will and you have a different will? But if it's not a conscious entity, the only consciousness is the consciousness that we have. And it is our consciousness. So this is not theism, kids. This is definitely not theism. It's not polytheism. It's not consciousness is fundamental. This is pure physicalism. Monism. It's like one thing is all there is. There's not two. There's not body and mind. The mind is a physical thing. We can't even measure it yet. It's at the quantum level. And we know it's like impossible to measure quantum level. So I'm thinking that because consciousness happened, that now the universe uses consciousness at the quantum level, where it didn't need to be. It wasn't there before. Now it's there. It changed everything. Consciousness changed the universe. So it's like the net of Indra, all the gems. Indra's the powerful god in early Hindu. The lightning bolt god, kind of like Zeus. So he's got a net, and every gem on the there's a gem on each intersection of the net. Each gem reflects the image in every other gem. So imagine like they're all red, and I decide I want to turn blue. So I turn blue, and then everybody else turns blue. And then they're like, wait a minute, let's change. We don't want to be blue. So we get in a battle between separate minds on which color we're going to be. So there's this dance of red or blue gems that are constantly trying to change what the others are. So we have the power to change the entire universe. Quantum mechanics has explained this to us. So when I reach over here on the desk and hold up a quarter, that changed everything, everywhere. And it's not a problem, because that's what everything does. Everything just accepts what's going on within it. So people don't think they have any power, but we do. We have the power to change all the gems to a certain color. Kinda. But remember, the others are fighting against us to not be able to. So the most powerful beings have the ability to require that these other individuals only be blue or only be red, like in politics. So when a person becomes awakened and you're aware that the oneness is what I am, and you just let it be. So it's like whatever happens is the oneness doing it. And because I want to stop wars, I'm doing this thing. So it's the oneness that's doing my website and the Law of Fairness and Church of Fairness. It's just the oneness that's doing all this. So a lot of the religions are like, well, just be okay. Know that everything is just the one thing doing it all, and don't change the world. Don't even try. Just let the world go. Let it do whatever it does. Well, that's great, but changing it is great too. Why not? Why not use this knowledge that we have that we can change things and make it change? And the way we change is by getting unity with the other people, looking at it from a human level. I only read about 3 sentences so far. It is our unity that creates our power. You can call it God or anything you want. The important thing is that it has all power, because it's all that is. So that's logic. If it's everything, then it has to have all power. It does not matter if it is conscious in the first place. It does not matter if there is a creator God or not. If you want to have faith that there is one, you can. Just don't do anyone wrong. You know? Don't think that your God wants things to be its way and you have a concept of what it is. No, because you're going to be butting heads with us. Because we don't think that's what God is. So, let's think, for example, that I'm wrong. That my ideas I just explained are wrong. And there's a creator God that created every single thing intentionally, knows where every atom is, wills what every atom does. Then, so what? It's like, let's agree to not do each other wrong. In any way that it actually is. There's a way that it is, and we don't know what it is. We don't know the whole truth of everything. Maybe we never do, but we can agree to stop doing each other wrong and to care about each other, even our enemies, and try to convince everybody to not do each other wrong, and certainly don't do our enemies wrong. Let them know we're not going to do you wrong. We care about you, but we're just defending ourselves. So don't try to kill us or we'll fight back, you know. What are we fighting for? It's like a Country Joe and the Fish back in the day. At Woodstock, they did the fish chair and they says, give me an F. The whole crowd, F, so they spelled F-U-C-K. What's that spell? Fuck. So, right now at this point, I'm entirely sexless. I don't want any sexual feelings. It's part of my spiritual practice right now. I'm old. I don't need to. It's like, it's a distraction from more important things. That's just attachment. And I'm working on non-attachment. Non-attachment to everything. And the only way I can do it is with the knowledge that suffering is grace. So when I'm hearing that people I care about are getting hurt, I just think suffering is grace. If I'm getting hurt, suffering is grace. So we're getting lots of grace. Just let things be. And then my focus to help them is with this, the World Fairness Agreement. That's how I'm helping the people I care about. They don't even talk to me because I have so many enemies that we have to be apart from each other. I'll talk about what the Mormon Church did to me in a minute. Those that do us wrong are cursed. This way is working. A curse is identical to praying for the defeat of those that do us wrong. The only way we will stop the further destruction of our planet is with the World Fairness Agreement. That's my opinion. Any one of us can be all-powerful, but only if we are not fighting each other. It's kind of like all of us will be all-powerful, none of us. But there's more to it. It's like the other beings in the universe that choose to support you if you stand up for yourself and if you don't back down. You become more and more powerful. I'm powerful in the realm of my own mind, but nowhere else. But my mind is the whole thing, and they know it. So in the way of the world, I don't have any success with all this effort. Church of Fairness, Team Fairness, this blog post I'm reading from, thewayoffairness.com, the Law of Fairness, the World Fairness Agreement. It's not happening. The only place it's happening is in the realm of the mind, and the mind is everything. So our purpose is to enact the World Fairness Agreement with our unity. We are not throwing anyone out. We are not torturing anyone. We are not hitting anyone. We are not punishing anyone. We are not killing anyone. We don't need to. If you do us wrong, you are cursed. We know this works. There is an unknown mechanism that makes the curse work. Perhaps it is an extraterrestrial. Perhaps it is God. That's the mechanism that we can't see. Like if I'm getting hit in the head with spiritual power and I get the migraine, then maybe I'm thinking back, how would you like me to punch you in the face? It's just a thought. And I see if that gets traction. I see, did it stop? Did my headache go away? So I work with what works. So when somebody's doing me wrong and I'm imagine just mutilating them to death because they're betraying me so viciously, as if they can just walk all over me, does that help for me to think that way? It does. I don't know why. It's the way humans are. There are narcissistic people that want you to fear them, and they want you to be afraid of making them angry. Don't make me angry. And so they want to beat you down, and when you surrender, then they love you. So they start love bombing you, and it's a process of breaking your spirit into serving them exclusively. That's what happens to humans that grow up in authoritarian families. So their real self has to take a hike and hide somewhere. And if it starts coming out, they're in big trouble, and they instantly go back to surrender. And then they'll start let's pick on this guy because he's not surrendering to the God. He's not surrendered to our God, I can tell. And so they'll start saying stuff about the person, and they get everybody to pick on the person. You know who the person is? It's me. That they get everybody to turn against. So, we're not actually torturing people. We might imagine it. I mean, how many times have I, a lot, I've imagined a lot of times where somebody's tied up that's doing me wrong, they're tied up and I put gas on them and light them on fire with my imagination. So then I'm like, protect us from my imagination, please. So, make sure that everything is about establishing fairness and nothing happens to anyone for me that's wrong. So I imagine somebody burning up on fire. It doesn't happen. Nobody actually spontaneously combusts. When you get into the realm of cities in Hindu religion, it's called cities, mind powers, spoon bending, causing fires. You're in, it's like a powerful league you're in now. It's the big league. So I'm dreaming about detonating an atom bomb in an enemy submarine. And then it happened. The Russian sub sank. Some nuclear disaster. They could not recover it. That's weird. If you can bend a spoon, you can detonate an atom bomb. See what I'm saying? This is scary stuff. So the beings that are here that are more powerful than us, they know. They know all this. It's their power that we're using. So we have UFOs over all these military installations. People see them all the time. I've heard that they're not going to allow a nuclear war. And then the spirit guides I'm with are like, yeah, it could happen any second. Because the way of fairness isn't happening. They want it to happen now. So, the Mormon Church and Corey Hoare, the atheist. Alma is a character in the Book of Mormon. He put a curse on Corey Hoare because he's atheist. And Corey Hoare's arguing that there's not a God. And so the curse on Corey Hoare results in him leaving, and they run him out of town. He goes somewhere else, lives with the other people, and he's downtrodden, gang stalked by them too, and he ends up dying. So it talks about God. He admitted there was a God that did something, but it doesn't mean it's God. It's some power that's in the universe that wants us to surrender to it as if it's God. But it's not the creator of everything. So is there a conscious being that creates everything? I don't think so. If there is, we can't ever get free of this. We're trapped forever in fighting each other. Because they're going to say it has all authority over everyone, and everyone has to surrender to that individual. It's somebody else. But we don't know who or where it is. We never will. So this other way, that the all-powerful oneness, the thing that's everything, is what you are. God is you. But you're not God. So God's the big thing and we're the little thing. God's not separate. God's just the universe and then some, everything else, and we're in it. It's us. So, there are people that have been blackballed, rejected, gang stalked by the group, by the culture, even if the people that were in different religion, growing up, my town I grew up was like 90% LDS. And there were a few Catholics, Protestants, atheists, Masons. So they were rejected. When it really gets bad is when you have narcissism in the mix. So that the people serving the narcissist, the leader, actually pick on other people and beat up people. Like, you see, we hear about gay people getting killed by people that think that gays are an offense to their God, and they're justifying killing them and harming them because of their God belief. The way the real world is they really aren't about the religion. They're about surrendering to them. That's what they're all about. Is you're going to surrender to me and my group, or you're going to have a lot of trouble. And they don't really practice the religion. They don't love one another. They don't love their enemy. They do people wrong. So I saw Donald Trump at the inauguration. He didn't put his hand on the Bible. I respect him more now that he didn't use the Bible. And that's what the people of the religious brainwashing will hold against him. And they're both Democrat and Republican. Christianity is a big thing in the USA. The founding fathers were trying to get free of it, for the most part. George Washington liked being the Lord idea. He was, he became the Lord over people. But like Emerson, Thomas Paine, Emerson was more of a pantheist, nature is God kind of guy. Thomas Paine was atheist. Give me liberty or give me death. There were a lot of deists, so they worship deity. Like nature is the deity. It's not a separate person that created us. See what I'm saying? They're on their way to changing Christianity. And Christianity might change so that it stays here. We have reformations all over the place because Catholicism took over the Gnostics with the Roman Empire. And so it's all about empire, what I was already talking about earlier. I remember I was in a seminary class when I was in junior high school, the first seminary class I'd ever attended. They let us out for an hour to go to the church's class as LDS kids. So the teacher Brother Peacock was telling us about God, and God is all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent, everywhere. I can't remember. My brain's not working too well. So I argued that God doesn't know everything, or he'd be bored. If he had all power and he knew everything, then he'd have everything under control, and he would be bored. So it's better that God doesn't know everything, so that God can learn and have something to do. And the class turned against me. I was shocked how much they were against me for having a different opinion and daring to say it. I grew up in a family that was not all that authoritarian. The authoritarianism came from the fact that we were Mormon. So, I don't know where this is going to go. So the Mormons think that we're going to be a god of our own planet, and we're going to have a whole bunch of wives. Each man's going to have a whole bunch of wives in heaven. This is all about sex. And it's about denying that you even have any, you know. So it creates a lot of people getting abused sexually as children. Anything that's normal human being phenomena is looked at as wrong. We're born wrong. And so we have to have Jesus die on the cross so that God is not offended by us. And then we can get to heaven with God and Jesus. So what about all the women? How come would there be like 1,000 more women than there are men in heaven, or what? And it's just absurd. So, but in that religion, there's the book that's actually the Egyptian Book of the Dead from the hieroglyphic. And for some reason, Joseph Smith, I guess it was Joseph Smith that drew the rest of the picture. He put dog ears on the man that didn't have the corner of the page was gone, so he couldn't see what the character was. He drew a man with dog ears, and it's actually Horus the jackal that has dog ears in the real document. So it's like he's told by other minds telepathically what to draw and what to write. And so he wrote about the council of the gods. He was hearing other minds in his mind telepathically, like I do. And they told him that there's a place called Kolob. It's another star, and this is where the council of the gods was that decided what was going to be taking place on planet Earth. That sounds like extraterrestrials. And it talks about the restoration of the gospel, the full gospel. I look at the gospel as, if you interpret it as what's actually true, you can use it that way. Like science and so forth, biological evolution is actually true. So it's the gospel truth to me. So anyway, it talked about finding the golden plates. He talked about finding these documents. And then in 1945, they found the Nag Hammadi library buried in the side of a mountain cliff on the Nile River. It says in the Nag Hammadi that this is for the later days and is protected by a demon they conjured up or something like that. And there's similarities here. It's really interesting. So when they found the jar that had the leather-bound 13 books that are the Nag Hammadi library that were missing, that was early Christian history that was not the Orthodox Christians. So the Mormon church saying that these churches are wrong, they're off track from what should be the Christianity. So I'm arguing that what should be the Christianity is the Church of Fairness should be the Christianity, because they're telling me I'm the only Christ, these beings that communicate to me telepathically. I really don't care. I'm just trying to stop all the wars. See what I'm saying? So I'm wondering if I should just not talk about the mental dream experience, the precognition, but it's so much of my life. I have dreams and it actually happens. Like I'm telling people, I'm inspired to tell people I'm death. I'm like, oh, it's like Vishnu, the destroyer of worlds character. And then the fires happen in L.A. I picked up on a person that when she got in my vehicle, I'm hearing telepathically, it might not have anything to do with her. And I know that. I heard, I'm going to kill you. There's like some male that because he's trying to get me to surrender to his power and get me under control. And then I'm getting that, no, she's trying to get free of this guy. He raped her or something. He's trying to keep it hid. The beings I serve already know. And I found out they know what we're thinking. So they're letting evil fight us. So I'm getting that the girl that might not be that girl is going to try to kill him or toy with him. So then, like a week after that, there was a murder in Cedar City. They arrested 4 young men for murder, and the guy who shot her in her pickup truck, that they pulled up alongside of her in their pickup truck, and they shot 8 or 12 rounds into her vehicle, and she died. He said that they were making an example of her, that he chose to kill her to make an example of her. So I'm thinking, what is going on? Oh, maybe he raped her, and she's toying with him like she's going to get enough evidence and she's going to have power over him because he raped her. So 17-year-old girl got murdered. And it matched up with this internal experience I'd had the week before. The cops haven't said that he raped her, but I'm thinking that's what it's about. They might already know. But they want to keep everybody silenced. So there's not going to be too many people that dare talk openly about this, like I dare. Because let me tell you, I'm getting death threats from evil often. A contract. They have a contract on me. And they are trying to shut me up. They don't want me finding out about them. That's why I wrote the World Fairness Agreement the way that I wrote it. Because this was going on to me before I wrote the World Fairness Agreement. People that are hiding evil deeds have been trying to stop me. I'm a threat to them because I'm not under control. I'm not surrendered to God, Jesus, and I don't pray in Jesus' name. So I'm a threat to them. So they're actually like with Judas instead of Jesus or something. So I wrote in the World Fairness Agreement that when we agree on this, everybody's past is not relevant. It's secret. We don't care who did what to whom. And it's like I've asked women, what about some guy guilty of rape, and we're going to say we're not even going to try to find out about it or prosecute him for it, but he's going to agree to never do anyone wrong again. So he won't ever rape anybody again. Is it worth it for the other people? It's like tragic. It's still going on today. Somebody's being raped right now and beat up and gang raped. So is it worth it to not prosecute them if we can stop this behavior and convince everybody to become good people? And they say, yes, it's worth it. So that, like, our children, our grandchildren are not gang raped. or murdered or robbed or gang stalked. So anyway, thanks for hearing me out. This is a very interesting day today. We have the new president inaugurated, and he didn't put his hand on the Bible. What's going to happen now? Oh, and Elon Musk does the Roman salute, the Roman Empire. They're still trying to rule the world. This is what Philip K. Dick caught on to through Catholicism. So what's happening with Catholicism? Catholicism has changed dramatically. And they talk about extraterrestrials. And I see them moderating and getting close to where they will want team fairness. They will want the World Fairness Agreement to happen. And they will recognize me as the founder of the Church of Fairness. And so will the Mormons. And so will the Muslims. The Muslims won't be killing each other. And they won't be getting killed by the Jewish people taking over more turf in Israel. And they won't be worried about Trump having nuclear bombs dropped on them in Iran or wherever. And the people from Mexico won't be worried about a gang of MAGA people killing them. So, it's time for it to happen, obviously. Thanks for listening.